So, you just got out of the tutorial, and you didn't learn as much as you were hoping to learn. Well, here's a short, no-nonsense guide on how to play the game. Let's go. You're going to want to move forward until you reach this wooden bridge. After you cross it, take a left to the sandstone bridge. Once you reach the sandstone bridge, cross it. Once you cross the sandstone bridge and reach this area, you're going to want to grab a few things, starting with a stick or two, 1 or 2 pieces of flint, and a rock. Alternatively, you can also pick up one of these rusty axes if you don't want to make a flint axe. You'll also want to grab a bit of dry grass. Keep moving across this area until you reach that little shack with the map. When you first load into a server, this map will be blank. All of the maps will be blank until you discover those areas. To discover an area and mark it on the map, you're going to walk up and place your hand on this stone part here and hold grab. Just past that wooden shack is another wooden bridge. You're going to want to cross it. When you cross the wooden bridge into the woodland area, you're going to want to cut down a tree. About 12 pieces of wood should be fine. But also make sure you cut down your stump or else the tree won't grow back. Now that you've got some basic materials to make a fire, let's talk about food. There are plenty of edible things on a township tale. I have a video on that goes into more detail on my channel. But for now, here's a guide on what you should and should not eat. Also, just a disclaimer. If you're going to travel through the woodland area, beware of the goteras. There's these walking trees that will attack you if you get too close. For now, it's best to avoid them and run away. Blueberries are fine, but I don't suggest surviving on them mainly. Apples are fine. Just make sure you cut your core afterwards. This is a pumpkin. It's a really popular food source, as it's abundant, and you can get a whole lot of food just from one pumpkin alone. That's why it's one of the main food sources in this game. This here is a spurgle. It's another common food choice for people. Now that you've got your food, I recommend pumpkin or spurgle. It's time to cook it. And for that, you're going to need a fire. To do that, get your dried grass and place it on the ground. After that, take a couple chunks of wood and put that on the grass. And afterwards, you're going to want 2 pieces of flint or a flint and a rock, and you're going to hit them together to make a spark. Just like that. Once that is done, you're going to start to see white steam come off your food. That's how you know it's cooking. For pumpkin, you can cook it whole, but I recommend you split it up into eighths. There you go. And then, we just put them on the fire and wait for them to cook. Once your food is done cooking, you'll see a little flash, and they'll change color, and brown smoke will start to come off of them. Pull these off the fire, because you don't want them to burn. When your food is done cooking, it's up to you if you want to cut it or not. When you cut a drumstick up, it turns into a bone and 2 pieces of meat. When you cut a pumpkin chunk up, it turns into 4 pieces. Now that you've got plenty of food, let's move on how to make a bag. Alright, to make a bag, you're going to need materials. It's always best to have more than you need, in case you break something by accident, but here's the bare minimum. You're going to need 2 leather rolls, 7 leather strips, and 11 buckles. Now that you know what you need, head up to the town hall, and then head down towards the mountain pass. There, we have a good chance of finding what we need, although you can find the materials in any of the chests out in the wild. Let's go. Once you reach the mountain pass, just keep following the trail, and you should be able to find some chests and some boxes and vases pretty soon. Here's a map of the mountain pass. You can find chests and vases here, 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 or here. Right here before me is a vase and a crate. If you're lucky enough and you break one open, you might be able to get the materials you want, or you can also find a couple of other things. As you can see, we did not get any backpack materials. Alright, here's a chest. To open it, you grab one of these handles here and you lift it up. And if you're lucky, you'll get what you're looking for. Now that you have all of your materials, let's head over to the crafting house to craft your bag. Let's talk about blacksmithing. First things first, you're going to need some metal. Right in this direction, we have the quarry, which is on the surface level, and we've also got the mines. If you're a new player and you're still starting out, I don't suggest you go into the mines. If you do wish to go into the mines, I suggest that you grab a friend and go in there together. But, for now, let's head up to the quarry, as that's the easier way to obtain metal early on. This here behind me is the quarry. Now, while it might be on the surface and an easy way to get metal, you still have to be careful though if you're starting out. There are these monsters, called Terabatas, also referred to as golems, that can deal some pretty hefty damage depending on the variant, or even if they're just stone. So, if you're a new player, I suggest you stay away from them for now. But, if you've got some experience and the know-how and the means, by all means go ahead and kill them. They'll drop some more as well. So here in the quarry, you can see there is some coal and some copper. What you're going to want to do is take your pickaxe, which you'll probably have a flint or a rusty pickaxe. In my case, I have Valiant. And you're just going to walk up to it and hit it. To make a set of basic tools, such as a pickaxe, a sword, and a woodcutting axe, you're going to need around 15 to 16 ingots, which translates to 45 to 48 copper ore. So get to mining. Once you're at the blacksmith, go up to the smithy and pull down this hatch. After that, you're going to want to take out all of the ore that you have and put it inside of that little receptacle. Afterwards, you're going to close the hatch and it should pop up here. If you want whatever you're trying to make to smelt faster, you can use the bellows and push them to make the fire stronger. When your metal is done cooking, it'll pop up here. To make your tools, you're going to need molds. Here are the walls of molds. However, sometimes when servers freshly reset, you won't have all of these, and so you'll have to go out and find them. But, assuming that the people on the server have already found everything, let's move on. These are the molds that you're going to need. That number at the bottom indicates how many ingots that you'll need to create it. To use a mold, you're going to walk over to this little box here in the smithy. If there is a mold in there already, just grab it and pull it out, and deposit the mold that you want in there. So, the blade that we're creating requires 6 ingots. So what you're going to do is take 6 ingots, they can be in this bag still, and put them in there. And just like the other ingots, your sword blade will pop out at the other side of the smithy. Now repeat this for all of your other parts. Here we are at the forge. Now, for most things, like weapon heads, blades, and tool heads, you're going to need to hammer them out. To do that, you're going to set it in the fire here, and wait for it to glow orange. After that, you're going to need a hammer. A rock on a stick will suffice. Once you see these particles coming off of your blade, you're going to put it on the anvil, and you're going to start hammering it out. If you see big sparks flying off of the blade, that means you're hammering the right place. Be sure to look at the blade and hammer in the right spots. If you notice that a part of the blade is thicker, you're going to want to hammer that area more. You'll know you're finished when white circles start to come off of your weapon and the blade flashes. Repeat that with the axe head. until you see white flashes come off. Just like that. And now, we have to make the handles for our tools. The next step is to make your handles, and for that, we're going to need 30 wood total. Head in through the entrance of town, and it'll be the first building on your right, the Carpentry building. We're going to want to move inside. Just like in the crafting house, to do carpentry, first you're going to grab the book and look for the recipe that you want. You're going to want this recipe here. It's this small handle. This we'll use for our sword. And after that, you're going to want to flip through until you find this handle. This handle will work for our pickaxe and our wood cutting axe. We're going to make 2 of them. Just like before, slot your recipe into the rectangle, and after that, you're going to want to take out your wood. Also, you're going to want to have a chisel and a hammer of any kind. A rock hammer and a piece of flint will work just fine. Small handles and small carpentry items only require 6 wood. For medium, it requires 12. And for large wood items, it'll require 18. To start carpentry, start by placing wood on the table. They should automatically fall into place like this. Once you've deposited enough wood into the table, you'll see a part of the wood to start to glow up. You're going to want to start chiseling this area. Make sure that you're only hitting the highlighted area, or else you risk the chance of ruining the wood and you'll have to restart all over again. Keep repeating this until no more of these blue highlighted areas remain. If it is on the other side, you can either walk to the other side, or you can pull this lever to flip it around. Once all of the highlighted areas are removed and you see that circle pop up, you're going to want to hammer all around the piece of wood and knock off these loose bits. Alright, well sometimes that happens. If that happens, just find yourself a new rock or a new stick, depending on what broke, and continue on. And now that you see this next flash, all you have to do is hammer the center, and boom, you've got a new handle. Now, take your axe or your pickaxe and the handle, and now you'll be able to connect the 2 together. And that's your axe. Repeat that for the pickaxe. For the small wooden handle, you only need 6 pieces of wood. Alright, now that you've got all your wood in, it's the same as before, start chiseling away. Alright, well, back to it. Alright, let's finish this off, shall we? Alright, now we can assemble the sword. Take out the blade and the guard, and after that, place the guard on first, and then place on the blade. And now you've got yourself a sword. Alright, well, those are pretty much the basics. I'll touch on mining, blacksmithing, crafting in another video sometime in the future. But anyways, I just wanted to say thank you for all of your guys' support on the last video. As always, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to drop them down in the comments and I'll try to answer them as fast as I can. Again, I am sorry for my hiatus. It's just that things happen, you know? But I'm here to stay, and I swear to you guys, I'll keep on trying to put out more videos. Well, that's all for this one. Tune in next time for more videos. Peace out, everyone.